Yes, hi everyone. Welcome to our today's class. And yeah, we can start now. Hope you did whatever that I've sent to you yesterday. I've sent some exercises. I'm sure that you did them. You watched my recording and practice, right? So today we are going to move forward. We are going to continue doing what we were doing yesterday. We're speaking about IP addresses, right? Let me try to share my screen and we can start, right? So just to recap a bit what I did yesterday. So we spoke about like IP addresses. We spoke about two versions, but today we're going to talk about class of IP addresses, right? So when we are talking about this IP address, especially version 4, right? IP version 4, we are going to see that this IP version 4 will have 5 classes, right? So we're talking about five classes, right? Don't forget about that. So this IPv4 is divided in 5 classes, right? There's class A, B, C, D, and E, right? So there's class A, B, C, D, and E. So those are the classes of an IP version 4, right? So let's now try to understand each one of them, right? As I said, we do have 5 classes, A, B, C, D, and E. So when you see an IP address, you must be able to identify the class, right? When you know the class of that IP, you will know how many devices can get your IPs, right? You will know the maximum number of IP because you can run out of IP. You got your company, you must know how many devices required those IP addresses, right? So, and when you know the size of your company, number of devices, you must now look at which class am I gonna use? Very, very important, right? For every class, there is a maximum number of IP addresses, right? So when you choose a wrong class, you will run out of IP addresses. So some of the devices will miss those IPs, right? Okay, let's start with class A, right? So class A is for bigger companies, for government, right? Government and the huge company, oh, right? And bigger companies, big companies. So this is what you need to understand when we're talking about class A. So class A for government or big companies, right? Very, very important. So in class A, you are going to notice that you are going to have few networks, but so many IPs, right? So in class A, few networks, but many IP addresses. So this class will allow you to have few networks, but so many IPs. So you can connect thousands of devices, right? So when you are dealing with a government or you are dealing with bigger companies, you have to look at class A. Why? Because class A will accommodate all the devices. Because as you know, without an IP address, you cannot connect to other devices. Very, very important, right? Now, how to identify class A. There is what we call a range, right? When you see your IP address, especially a class A, there is a range. The range goes between 0 and 127. This is the range that you have to look at when we're talking about this class A. There's a range. What does it mean? The first octet must be like a number between 0 to 127. Let me give you an example. Like this one, 50.3.3.3, right? This one, it's what? It's version, it's like an IP address, but class A. Why class A? Because this first octet, this one, is between 0 and 127. So 50 is between 0 and 127. This is what you have to understand, right? So this number 50, the first octet is between 0 and 127, right? Very easy, right? Let me give you another example. Example 2, give you another one, 100.30.20. You can see that this one also is class A. Why class A? Because 100 is between what? Your 100 is between 0 and 127, right? Understand? So when you have an IP address, you have to look at the first octet. The first part, you know that your IP address will have 4 parts. The first part, that number must be a number between 0 to 127, right? Okay, let's say your IP network is, let's say, 90.5.5.5, right? This is your IP network, right? No, let's say 0, right? You can assign now to computers. Let's say this is you can assign your computers like PC1. It can be what? 90.5.5, maybe .2. PC2, you can give it the number 90.5.5.3, and PC3, you can also give it what? 90.5.5.4, right? Just an example, right? Now, you need to understand this. This is class A, right? Let's talk about now class B. Class B is for medium companies. Medium companies, right? This is what you have to understand. So class A for bigger companies, for the government. So class A will have few networks, but so many like IPs, right? So you have to look at your company, the size of your company. When you want millions of IP addresses, you can go for class A. And how will you know that this IP is class A? You must look at the first part. That first part, that number must be between 0 and 127. For class B, the range must be between 128 and 191. This is what you have to keep in your mind. So this is the range. What does it mean? So if I'm giving you this IP, this may be 150.23.23.2, all right? This IP, this one, it's class B. Why class B? Because 150, the first part, 150 is between what? It's between 128 and 191, right? So you only look at the first part. Let me give you another example. Example 2 again. Let's say 170.2.2.2, right? This is 2, it's what? It's class B. Why? Because 170 is between 128 and 191. Very, very important. This is class. Let's do class C, right? We're going to talk about this class C, right? For class C, it's for small companies. Small companies, very small companies. You can go for class C, small companies, right? And because it's small companies, means that you're gonna have so many networks, but few devices, few IPs, right? Many networks, few IP addresses, right? IP, what addresses? Now the range is gonna be what? The range, it's 192.223, right? So what does it mean? It means this. When an IP, your IP maybe gonna be 200. Let's take an example. Your IP is this one, 200.5.5.5, right? This is a class C. Why? Because 200 is between 192 and 223, right? Very, very easy, right? So class A, the range is between 0 and 127, just the range of the first number. Class B, the range is 128 to 191. Class C, the range is 192 to 223, right? When you look at the first part, you must check and say, okay, this number is between which range? When you know the range, you will know which class that IP belongs to, right? There is also the class B, but class B and E, we don't use them, right? We don't use them, not used, right? So D, we call it for multicast, and E for experimentation. So those two classes, we don't use them, right? They are reserved classes. So D is for multicast and E for experimentation. We don't use them, right? Now I'm gonna give you an exercise. This exercise, I'm gonna give you a list of IPs. You're going to choose their classes. You're going to determine their classes, right? And make sure that you are going to send it back to me. Right? Let me give you those exercises. IP, and here you have your class. You have just to show me which class is this one, right? 10.0.0.2. Have my which class? 200.333. 215, 55, 86, 18552, and 66, 66. So you only precise, you're gonna show me the class, what class belong every IP here, right? Very, very easy for you guys. Make sure that you are going to do it and send it to me. Let's move forward. Now we are going to talk about what we call subnet mask. Subnet mask, right? So every IP will go together with a subnet mask. Every IP must have what? A subnet mask. So wherever you can see like an IP address, there must be what we call a subnet mask, right? So if there's an IP, there's a subnet mask. There is no IP without subnet mask. So everywhere where there is an IP address, there is also a subnet mask, right? Why? This is the question. Why, when there is an IP address, there must always be a subnet mask, right? A subnet mask will tell you, you see when you have your IP address will have two parts. Let me write it down. IP address will have two parts logically, all right? Those two parts are network part and the host or device part. So when you see an IP address, right, you have to know that this IP has two parts. One part will identify the network and another part will identify the device. So when you have your computer will have like its own IP and the subnet mask. That IP will have two parts. One part will show which network that computer belongs, and another part will be to identify that computer, that particular computer. Like you got your family, you got your name. Your name will show your family name and your own name, right? So there's a family name and your own name. This is as we're using also your IP address. So the IP will have the network part that shows which network that computer belongs, and the second part will show the actual name, the actual identifier of the computer, right? So all those computers, the way you are sitting there, you got one of the computers in front of you. That computer, that IP will have one part that shows which network your computer belongs, and that other part will show the IP address or will determine that specific computer. So one part will identify the network and another part will identify your computer, uniquely your computer, right? And how are you going to know that? For you to know that, it's by using what? A subnet mask. Subnet mask will allow you to split those two parts. Right? So it's only the subnet mask that will allow you to know those two parts, right? And how we are going to use them. First, you must know your class. When you know the class, you know your subnet, you will know which part belongs to, you will know which class belongs to the network. You will know. Sorry. Okay. So I said it's only the subnet mask that will show you that will determine those two parts. You cannot determine them by yourself. You cannot even see them. You're gonna just see your IP address, but you never know, okay, this is the IP address. Which part belongs to the network and which part belongs to the actual device? Like when I can see your name, I cannot know which name. Maybe your surname is your father's name and your first name is your own name. I cannot know. But the subnet mask will tell me that. So the subnet mask will allow me to identify that, right? So now we are going to see how you are going to know that, right? Let's start with class A. When you are dealing with class A, right, is what we call a default subnet. Default subnet mask for class A is what? 255.0.0.0. This is the default subnet for class A. Right? Default subnet for class A. You have to know that. When you see this default, means what? Okay, let's say I have maybe this IP .0.0. Let's say this is my IP address. Right? And this is my subnet mask. Right? Now, where is the network part? Where is the network part? The network part, you must check this one. There is only one 255. There's only one, right? Because when you check your subnet mask, there's only one 255, means that this is your network part, right? So your network part is what? 10. So 10 is the network part. The network part, right? Why? Because you have only one 255. Means that you go back to your IP address, you say, okay, because my subnet mask says that I got only one 255, means that when I go back to my IP, the first part, this is my network part, right? And the remaining, it's your host part, right? So your host part or device part, it's what? It's 0.0.2. This one, this is your host part, right? This is your host part, right? Now, suppose like you got now like computers, right? By using this IP, how you gonna assign your computers? Let's say a PC1. From PC1, don't change the network part because the subnet mask tells you like the first part is a network. We cannot change the 10. So 10 can remain. I can put 1.2. PC2, I cannot change the first part. The same as PC3, I cannot again change the first part, right? So this is what does it mean. So you don't change this 10. The 10 doesn't change, right? You only change what? You only change those other part, right? This is, oh, okay. I wanted to change in color. I put it on my mouse. Okay, this is the meaning. So you cannot change the pen, right? Let me give you an exercise. You're going to do it for me. Let's say this is your network, like IP. Network IP, it's what? Let's say 25.0.0. Subnet mask 255.0.0.0. I want you to assign your PC1, your PC2, PC3, and PC4. You need to assign them those IPs. So the network IP is there, and this is the subnet. You have to assign the IPs there, right? Now, let's move to class C. No, I got a class B. For class B, default subnet is what? Default subnet is 255.255.0.0, right? Because it's like this, means what? Means that 250, this part is the network part, right? And the remaining part is the host part, right? So network part, 255, 255. Device part or host part, it's the remaining 0.0, right? So means what? When you have a class B, let's say this one, right? And the subnet mask, maybe it's 255.255.0.0 for your computer, right? Because this is your subnet mask. This is your network part, right? Means that don't change. Don't change those two parts. Those two first parts. You cannot change them. So suppose like you have PC1. So PC1 will be those two parts, you cannot change them, right? Why? Because the subnet says so. The subnet says those two parts, because they are 255, right? Means go to your IP, don't change those two parts. So your IPs will be 150.2. I cannot change, I can put the 3, there I can keep 0. The PC2, I can do the same thing, 150.2.4.0. PC3, do the same, 150.2.5.0. So these two parts, you are not changing them, because if you change them, you are going to be in different networks, right? So you don't change them, right? This is the meaning, right? Let me give you another exercise that you have to do. This is your network IP, and this is your, and this is your subnet mask. They're asking you to fill this table. You must give your PC1 like an IP, your PC3, and your PC4 and PC5, right? Let's move to class C, right? So class C also will have what? Will have its default subnet. So default subnet for class C, it's 255.255.255.0, means that don't change those three parts. All right, don't change them. All right, like when you have like this one, right? This one will be what? You don't change those three. You cannot change them, because when you change them, they are going to be in different networks. So it's gonna be 5.5.11, and PC2 maybe it's gonna be 193.5.5.12. All right. Let me give you another exercise that you are going to do for class C. This is for class C, right? So you have to do those exercises. Non-also, you can start. Sometimes you can pause, you can stop for them to complete exercises, right? Now, we are going to do like an exercise just to cover up, right? Let's say I got my network. This is my network. Let me try to share my screen. Okay, let's say I got just like 3 PCs. I can have my own switch here, and I can connect my computers to the switch. Right. I'm just trying to connect my computers. Okay. When you are done, I can choose a class A IP. Let's say maybe I'm choosing the class A. And my IP gonna be 50.0.0.0, and my subnet mask to 55.0.0.0 means don't change the phrase. So I'm going to assign my computers those IPs according to this class. So let me try to stop sharing, make sure that you are with me at the same place. Try to share. Okay. Okay. I'm going to assign my IPs .0.0.1. You can see when you click on subnet mask, it's coming automatically. When I'm done, I can go to the second PC. Second PC. You do the same. Subnet. When I'm done, I can go to the last PC. And I can assign my IPs. No, it was 50.0.0.3. And when I'm done, I can ping now. I can ping. You can see the reply, right? So this is what that it means. Now what you must do, you're going to take an exercise and try to do the same. From today, when you design your own network, you must choose your own like IP. When you are a senior guy, nobody will give you this IP. You have to come up with your own IP, right? But if you're a junior, they can give you those IPs. Okay, you can try to do this, and after this one, I will send you another link to my recording. Right? Thank you very much. Do my exercises, and I'm going to make a follow-up. Oh, nice.